Hey there, BookTube. Noah. Everyone who reads and must converse is the channel. I'm going to add a video here to the Buddhism from a Western Perspective series. And if just so you know, there is an ongoing series like that on the channel. So I'm going to be using terms and ideas from Buddhist thought, Buddhist text, Buddhist practice, Buddhist cosmology, philosophy, what all the above, right? And I'm not going to take the time to extensively define it and to go very deep into each kind of thing that might be different from a Western perspective. I've done that on a number of videos that are like more fundamental to this playlist. So if there's things that you want to explore more, please check out the playlist. I'll put a link in the description box. And if there's something you can't find, then there's an idea for more videos for this series, right? Let me know in the comments. So I'm going to explore mental health from a Buddhist perspective. And I thought that this would be very informative and very cool. I'd love to hear any thoughts that you have on any aspect of this. And let's have a conversation. So in Buddhism, we're working with a whole different, cosmology, right? It's a cyclic existence. You are not going to be free from life after life of, forgetting, learning, and ultimately there's an idea of growing over, an immense amount of time, growing and growing and growing until then you are more of a refined type of being, a more spiritual being, right? But that kind of thing is an unsatisfying kind of place to sit in, right? And why is because people suffer. So in Buddhism, there is a formulation of Buddhism that is very fundamental, and it's called the Four Noble Truths. The Four Noble Truths go like this. The first noble truth is existence. Existing is suffering. It is hard, and it is painful. And why is it painful? There is a cause of it being suffering and painful. That is because we desire. Now, we desire for things that we don't have, things that we want. We desire for things that we do have that we don't like to go away. And we are indifferent to any, a lot of things in our lives. And that is a form of desirelessness, in a way, right? And so the third noble truth is that there's a way to break the cycle of suffering. And then the fourth is a way to do that, an actual path and a way to do that. There's 8 different aspects of your life to address in order to do that kind of thing. So I think that especially for this discussion, the suffering is called dukkha in Pali Sanskrit, dukkha, and it will serve to put all negative mental states under that category, right? It's all things that bring us pain, that we don't like, that we wish were different, but whether you however you feel about it, they are things that cause suffering, an aspect of suffering to you. So those are the things that we're addressing. I'm going to keep it just on exploring mental health from a Buddhist perspective, as far as I can see. So instead of exploring all 8 of the Eightfold Path, I want to talk about right concentration. The right concentration or right mindfulness, as it is sometimes translated. That is what we put, or that is attention. Being able to pay attention, being able to have attention on one specific thing, or actually being able to broadly pay attention and take in whatever is around. Just your ability and your level of attention, increasing that, cultivating that, and that kind of thing being something that you focus on for yourself, for your own well-being, for your own mental health. You have to be able to be in the moment. That is a big thing of mindfulness, is you're in the now. You're not chugging through the things that are all past. That's not to say that we don't acknowledge them. We're going to, keep moving through this. But in mindfulness, you are in the present moment. You are in the now, and you're seeing what your life is consisting of now. Being able to pay attention to that, being able to bring your attention to that is a very strong thing, and a thing that you need to be able to do, I think, to cultivate mental health. Because a lot of times it's not a thing where I'm saying we don't want to acknowledge the past or acknowledge something that happened to us. Of course you have to in order to grow through it. But there is an inability to look at what you have now and who you are now, instead of, kind of defining yourself by the past, or on the alternative, worrying about the future, worrying about something that hasn't happened yet. So the right concentration or right mindfulness, that part of the Eightfold Path, concerns that thing. Another one of the Eightfold Path that I want to talk about is right meditation. Now, meditation is a wonderful gift to humanity that has been cultivated by mystics and monks and practitioners of all kinds of spiritual traditions, Eastern and Western, for a long time. But it is more pointedly overt and explicit in Eastern traditions. Buddhism is no exception. So meditation, what it is basically just sitting quiet with, and you're cutting off your senses. You're sitting and you're going within yourself. No sight. You close your eyes. You don't, no hearing anything. You're going to hear whatever, of course, right? But you don't pay any attention to your ears. Close your mouth. Breathe through your nose. Cultivate the breath. And you go within. And in mindfulness, what we're doing, what you do at first, at least, is you're making space. And that's making space for you to be responsive instead of being reactive in your life. That's first step stuff with what meditation. Meditation brings a host of benefits to how you will deal with yourself in your life, and and be an invaluable tool for mental health, for sure. Because it's all about what you're thinking about, where you're putting your attention, and whether you have any space in that when you start getting into a train of thought to be responsive and witness what you're thinking and what you're doing, or are you caught in it and being reactive and just, throwing out these kind of reactive things within yourself, basically arguing with yourself or berating yourself, or, that kind of critiquing yourself, rather than having some space to say, hey, you did the best you could. Yeah, you could have done things better, for sure, but hey, everybody could, and you're no different than anybody else. Things like that. Making some space for your own inner dialogue and your own inner life. That's what meditation does. And the third of part of the Eightfold Path that I want to bring up is um, the most pressing for mental health. So we'll explore it a little more, and it's right view. Right view is the viewpoint that you bring to your life and your reality. So right view is like, what do you think you are? What do you think this life is about? What do you think about this, that, or the other? Right view at first is openness and willingness to hear another viewpoint. Postulate ideas without casting judgment on them. Being able to have ideas come into your experience in life and you actually allow them to be neither validated or invalidated, but you can just think on them, talk about them, and then allow them to augment your thinking, your perception, your ideas about yourself or reality in whatever ways that that you kind of can get to through that practice. Right view is a main thing, and right view brings us back to the Four Noble Truths, okay? Because if everything is kind of unsatisfactory in this world, then we're not going to be surprised when we're unsatisfied, right? And we're not going to think that we should be satisfied just with the day-to-day stuff. It's not satisfying, right? There is satisfaction to be had in life. So what does that? And I think being a creative is a big part of that. So there's a lot of booktube and a lot of people out there that do find satisfaction in life through being creative, I think, in different ways. But also conversations, interactions, really having some real intimate conversation with people is those kind of things as well, because we're sharing. Change, that you can change things is a fundamental truth in Buddhism. Change is the name of the game. Everything does change. That's why the world is unsatisfactory. Everything you love and you like and you want to keep is going to go away at some point, right? It's fleeting. Everything that you don't want, if you don't have it in your experience right now, you should be counting your blessings, because things that you don't like are coming. We experience all kinds of things in our life, and our lives change, and change is what this life is all about. But in the idea of that change is always happening, that is the cause, but it's also our liberation as far as Buddhism is concerned, because the fact that change happens means that nothing is ever stuck the way that it is right now. It's a beautiful thing to know that we can change. Also, another idea in Buddhism that I want to touch on that is absolutely fundamental is that there is no inherent selfhood to yourself that cannot be changed. There is not a you that is made up of attributes, be it personality or thought processes, train tracks, thought loops, all those kind of things are not cemented and unchangeable. That is a fundamental fact in Buddhism, in Buddhist thinking. So, to explore that, I would say, especially in a mental health way, there are causes and conditions for everything. And the causes and conditions of it need to be understood and need to be changed and tweaked on their constituent level, on the levels that they are, because there is a huge amount of causes and conditions for certain neuroses or certain things, certain patterns that people get into in their thinking and in their personalities. And when I hear people say things like, I'm like this, and when I could claim that, it was freeing to me, and it made me feel better about myself, and that kind of thing. That is somebody finally being able to get to the point where they acknowledge what is going on. But that is not at all the end of the road, because you're not stuck being any kind of way. You can change the way that you are and be the kind of way that you want to be. The main thing is, what it comes down to is where we place where we place value in what we place value on, where we place value in our lives, and what we grab onto that gives us our identity. So many people give their identity to labels that are changeable, and they continue to reinforce that those things are identifiers to them. And when you do that, you just continue that kind of pattern. And acknowledgement and a lot of work needs to happen before certain things can change. I would never think that it's an easy process or that it would be a quick process. But I've done a lot of that kind of thing in my life through Buddhist practice. And the way to do it is meditation and self-observation and conversations and all kinds of tools. There's all kinds of tools out there for these kind of things. But it has to be acknowledged first and foremost. And also acknowledge that that kind of thing is not you. That kind of thing is not yourself. You are not a label. You are not a condition. You might have a condition. You might have a thing. But that kind of thing is not what you are. That kind of thing is an attribute that, and a lot of times, especially in mental health, just mental health as far as non-biological, just psychological mental health, these things are habits. They are habits of thinking and habits of mind and the kind of ways that we identify ourselves. As far as placing value, it is a thing of putting value into things that really bring you happiness. There's a lot of times that people place value in things that do not make them happy. And they derive pleasure from their, being stopped in their happiness, because it cements the kind of inner dialogue that goes on. This kind of thing becomes a cycle. So what you place value in outside of yourself and what you do on the day-to-day, what you place value in your actions, what you place value in your thoughts and your inner activity, those kind of things, that is every bit on the level of the kind of things that you identify with as well. So, I hope you enjoyed this, guys. Y'all let me know any kind of ideas. It was fun to put together this kind of what things out of Buddhist practice bear very well onto mental health issues. So let me know what you think, and I welcome any discussion. Bye bye, book team.